You know, for a lot of us, the idea of divine mercy, it can sound a little bit like a legal thing, right? A way to get off the hook. But what if it's something way more real, way more life-giving than that? Today, we're going to explore a totally different way of looking at mercy. Not as something you get when you mess up, but as the presence that actually holds you when you feel like you're falling apart.
So, what is mercy? It seems like a pretty simple question, doesn't it? But how you answer it, well, that changes absolutely everything. Is it all about rules and punishments? Or is it about love and presence, showing up in our hardest moments?
So you've got these two very different ways of looking at it. On one hand, there's the common view. Mercy is basically a legal loophole. You're guilty, but hey, you get let off. But then there's this incredible other option. Mercy as a life-giving love. It's how love shows up right when the ground is shaking under your feet. And that second one, that's what we're going to unpack.
All right, let's just dive right in and start rethinking what divine mercy actually is. We're going to pull it down from some abstract idea in the clouds and get it into something that feels deeply personal.
And this right here is so important. We're not talking about some theological concept to debate. We are talking about that raw human experience of hitting a wall, a crisis, a loss, a moment of just total despair, and discovering that somehow you are still being held.
So what does this actually look like when life gets real? Let's talk about those times when it genuinely feels like everything is just falling apart. What does mercy feel like then?
Mercy doesn't show up in hypotheticals. It finds you in real loss, the kind of tangible, gut-wrenching pain that just takes your breath away. It finds you in deep fear. That fear of the unknown, of having no idea how you're possibly going to get through the next day, or, heck, even the next hour.
And it finds you in utter confusion. You know that mental fog when all your plans just evaporate and you have no clue what comes next? It's right there. In that space of loss, fear, and confusion, that's where mercy shows up.
And this quote, wow, it just gets to the heart of it. This is really our new definition. Mercy is not about you mustering up more strength. It's the profound, kind of mysterious experience of being carried when you have absolutely no strength left to take even one more step. So how do we get this mercy? Well, it's not about creating something new. It's just about re-engaging. First, you got to recognize that this supportive presence, it hasn't gone anywhere. We're the ones who drift. Second, our only job is to just turn our attention back, kind of like tuning an old radio to find the signal. And third, and this is huge, once you connect, the promise isn't just survival. It's not about barely scraping by. The promise is overflow.
But what is this presence? What's the face of this love that's carrying us? Is it just some vague cosmic energy? Well, this perspective gets a lot more specific than that.
You know, a French Orthodox priest once said, Yeshua put a face on God. And the idea here is that this powerful mercy, it isn't abstract. If you want to know its character, its texture, its very heart, you look at the life and the teachings of Jesus.
And just look at how this love is described. It's not polite or distant, it's immeasurable, even crazy and wild. It's like a mother's love, that deep, instinctive, protective feeling that comes straight from the gut. It's something you feel in your body, not just an idea you think about. And maybe most powerfully of all, it's a fierce, relentless refusal to let you be lost.
So this brings us to the scale of this mercy. See, I think most of us operate from a place of scarcity, right? We're worried we're going to use up our share of grace. This next part is going to challenge that head on.
Think about the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. We're invited to see it as more than just a historical magic trick. Instead, think of it as a powerful metaphor for the absolutely immense, almost shocking abundance of divine goodness.
And this just lays out the two mindsets so perfectly. The scarcity mindset tells you that grace comes in tiny little rations, that you've probably used too much, that God is getting tired of you. But the abundance mindset, the one from the story, it talks about baskets left over. It talks about unreasonable generosity. It promises there is always more.
Yeah, let that just sink in for a second. The defining image of God's mercy isn't just enough to scrape by. It's having so much that there are baskets left over. It's a picture of extravagant, unending overflow.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but what does it actually mean for you and me in our real lives? Let's bring it all home.
Here's what this different understanding of mercy can really offer your heart. First, God is not an anxious scorekeeper. You can let go of that fear.
Second, in your absolute worst seasons, you are not abandoned. You are accompanied. Third, you can finally stop the exhausting work of trying to earn what is already being poured out for you. Which means, finally, your only job is to simply practice tuning back in. So let's just end on this thought. What if we completely reframe the question? What if mercy has nothing to do with what you deserve, good or bad, and has everything to do with the wild, abundant, and fierce love that is constantly being offered to you, especially when you need it the most?